DFRNT, the internet's #1 beat marketplace.
It's just different.
My name is Epik The Dawn. I'm an entrepreneur and a music producer from Los Angeles, California, currently residing in Atlanta. My goddad, his name's Randy Thomas, he produced Car Wash, the old school song from back in the day. And he had a studio and always used to be in the studio. I was really curious. And that's where I really started at. So I started at a really young age of probably about 17 and got really serious about it when I was 19 when I had my son. Life, really. I am really inspired by everything that happens. I can't make music unless it's during a current time in my life, whether it's up or down or whatever. I can't just sit down and create for no reason. Like, I have to feel something and be able to put it into the music. So I'm inspired by life, my son, my wife, and anything that's happening at the time, honestly. I usually start with the melody. I can't start with the drums first. I usually start with the melody, and it kind of brings in the drums for me. I would say the piano, honestly. I've been playing the piano since I was 19, and that's the most important thing to me. Being able to play live and not click anything in, and that's the most important piece of equipment. Like, even without the computer or FL Studio or any DAW, the most important thing to me is definitely the piano. I spend more time on the business than the creative, to be honest. I've been doing this for about 11 years professionally, and I would say I take way more time on the business because it's not something that I actually completely understand, and I didn't go into it trying to do business. I was only interested in the music, so I have to take more time on the business because it's not something that I always understood. So I try to take extra time on that so that my customers are happy and I'm always getting better and developing. I try not to force it. I try not to force the creativity. I try not to think about it too much. If I have to back off for a month, I'll back off of the music for a month and then come back to it. I try to surround myself with good people, good energy, other creatives. Getting around other creatives really helps. If I'm around somebody that's better than me, it really helps with my creativity and helps me stay on track and get back to making music again. Oh man, I don't think that there's one key. I think that it's really important to be diverse, whether it be in music or in business, and implementing new ideas and new things, whether it be Facebook advertising and YouTube advertising and or anything of that sort. It's always changing. Everything is upgrading. Even my Flash store, it's every month I'm seeing something new added, whether it be Google Analytics and other things like that. So I think staying aware of everything that's going on musically and business-wise is the most important thing that you can do. There's not just one thing, one key to success at all. I pay attention to what all my competition is doing. Whether that's Superstar-O, I saw you guys interview Superstar-O. He's a big inspiration to me and a whole lot of other people. Or just other marketers outside of my market. So I pay attention to people like Gary Vaynerchuk. I pay attention to, I read a lot of books about all the new things that are going on. I'm constantly paying for knowledge. Like, I think that's the most important thing. There's a lot of free stuff out there, but a lot of the courses, whether it be on Udemy and stuff like that, I'm always on there trying. Sometimes it's not the best stuff in the world, but I run into gold all the time. So I'm constantly paying for knowledge over and over again. I was going after the music industry, really trying to get inside of the actual recording industry. I got really close. I was in the studio with Diddy and Chris Brown and all kind of different people. And when I got into it, I didn't enjoy that aspect of the business. It didn't speak to me. It wasn't something that I really wanted. I left feeling unfulfilled, and I didn't feel like I was growing from it. I felt like I was kind of leeching off of others to get success. And I'm not saying that everybody does that, or if you're in the industry that's what it is. I just felt that way. And when I hit that moment, it made me realize that I wanted to build something myself. I wanted to really, all of my music, I wanted it to be based off of my name, and I wanted people to respect me because I made great music. And that's what made me turn into music online. I think that was back in 2007 or 8. And I just went full throttle after that point. So that was like a real pivotal point for me when I really not gave up, but just stopped going after the industry and realized that everything is going online earlier than a lot of other people. It was a hard decision because I actually had that, and then I was in a group, like a rap group with this other guy, and we had a deal on the table with Capitol Records, and I got into it with my managers and all. It was like so much chaos, but going through the chaos, it made me realize even more and more that I didn't want it. Like, people were really greedy. Everybody around me was really greedy, and I wanted to be around people that were positive, and everything that I've done online has always been positive, and it's actually gotten me placements and in the industry doing it, and it was all just through my medium and not through anybody else's. So I was definitely aware of everything that was going on. I saw a long time ago that the industry was going, since like Napster back in the day, way back, that the industry was going towards the internet. And after this year, I feel like was the biggest year, from Bryson Tiller to the dude Maniac selling beats. I think he uses my Flash Store. He sold his beat on my Flash Store to Designer, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that's huge. And this year, I feel like is the first time I really see it like completely. I think for me, it's putting my face out there. Like a lot of producers, they don't put their face out there. They don't create that bond and that trust between their customers and themselves, and teaching people things and getting them to understand things from my perspective, and really putting my personality out there. A lot of producers are scared to do that because they're used to sitting in their room and making beats, and but I think that's how I make myself stand out. And I always encourage producers to do that as much as they can, because when you do that, you create a trust and a bond, and nobody wants to just buy something from a computer. They want to buy something from a person, and they're more likely to buy something from a person. So I think that's what sets me apart from a lot of people, other than my music being different. My whole slogan is it's just different. So, I think that's really what sets me apart. Through every medium that I can think of, whether it's Instagram or SoundClick. I think SoundClick is where I completely started. It's like I would say, as far as producers go and selling beats, it's the biggest site. Well, it was the biggest site. It's kind of moving over to my Flash Store now. I've noticed more and more that the actual chart system and everything is starting to generate sales, not only for me, but for a lot of other people. So SoundClick was a huge medium. Instagram, of course, YouTube is humongous, and it's only getting bigger. And Facebook is definitely a new one for me. It's a new one that I'm seeing that everybody is really getting into, especially after the video. So the video implementation. So anything that I can get my hands on and I can get to people, I use. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundClick, SoundCloud, a little bit. Email marketing is huge. I try to get people into first thing I try to do is not get the sale. I never try to get the sale first. I try to get people to opt in first and create a communication point so that it's not, like I said, them just talking or just buying from some computer or some website. They're actually talking to a person. I put my phone number out there and let people call me personally so that I can have a conversation with them. And I talk to about 20 to 30 artists every single day and other producers every single day, just to create that personal connection. Always create a transaction point. Whether, I'm not saying to sell, like I said, but if you're gonna give something away for free, there always has to be an exchange. Whether that's them following you on Twitter, them giving you their email for your email marketing, or something like that. You have to create some type of transaction point so that eventually it'll end up being an actual transaction. So if you're gonna give something away, whether it be information or beats or drum kits or anything, create that transaction point first. I sit down for at least 2 hours a day and try to, dig through the internet and find new stuff. Constantly reading and buying courses and doing everything I can to understand it, because I don't feel like I have the complete understanding of it yet. And I think a lot of producers lack that. So I don't want to fit into that category, and I want to really understand it all the way down to how, like I said, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's like one of my biggest influences, and I feel like I can get there with beats. I feel like nobody's really gotten there with beats yet. So maybe some drum kits and stuff like that, but I don't feel like people have gotten there quite yet with beats, and I feel like it's really important. I remember I saw it on somebody's site on SoundClick, and when I went to your guys' website, the first thing I saw was automation, and I'm kind of lazy a little bit as far as sending out beats and stuff like that. So that's what really attracted the site to me. It was the automation where I didn't have to actually send out stuff, and my customers can get their beats automatically after they send the payment, and that's the most important thing to me for my Flash store. It's like it just takes some of that load off, the extra workload, so I can focus in on the music. I could really focus in on getting more content to people and not sitting down for 4 hours, 3 hours just trying to send out beats and do track outs and all of this stuff. So that's really what attracted that to me. And also the analytics that they had in the back end, and it's grown a lot over the years. And I know that you guys have something huge coming because you guys keep upgrading. I see the Google Analytics. I know you guys are up to something. I don't know what it is quite yet, but I know you guys are up to something. That's really what attracted it to me. Like the automation, the analytics, and the mailing list implementation was really dope. So those are all the aspects I really liked, and I still do to this day. It's instrumental, for lack of a better word, and it's very instrumental in it's every transaction that I get, it goes through my Flash store. So it's the cornerstone to me selling beats, and I feel like I want to say you guys are probably the biggest out of everything I've seen, and the best and the most cohesive one. So honestly, it changed everything that I've done. Like it made everything easier for me. I don't have to think nearly as much as I used to have to sit there and go through emails and stuff like that. So it's huge. I don't think I would have made the money that I make or be able to feed my family without it. Honestly, it's huge. It's one of the biggest sites online, and I suggest it to everybody I run into. Right now, I'm really trying to help producers learn how to sell beats. I've been doing it for a long time. I really enjoy it, but I think that I have enough knowledge to be able to start to help other producers learn how to sell beats properly and learn how to deal with customers properly. But right now, as far as selling beats, it's going pretty good. I don't focus in on it as much as I used to though. And it's not because I don't love it, it's because I've been doing it for so long, and I feel like I need to give that gift to somebody else. The same thing that I had, I feel like I need to give it to somebody else, man, so that they can progress and have the same opportunities and more opportunities than I had. So really where I'm headed towards is bringing more people to my Flash store. I think I have 4 people in the past week sign up from my mentorship. So that's exactly where I'm going. I'm trying to help producers and stop selling beats and start teaching others how to do that same thing. Man, it's everything that I do. I stopped going after the music industry, so that I can do it, because I know that it's gonna be huge in the next 5 years. I feel like selling beats online is what everybody's gonna be doing. People in the industry are gonna be buying beats online. A lot of the industry, I have 2 industry producers that are part of my program right now, that platinum selling produce, like platinum records that want to sell beats online. So I know in the next 5 years, it's definitely going to be a pivot into that direction. So it's really, really instrumental. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be able to feed my family without it. It's the way that I had my son when I was 19. I raised him on my own. So it was the way that I fed him and myself. And it was everything, honestly. It's everything I've been doing for the past 10 years. Just be yourself. Like, don't try to copy what everybody else does. It's good to learn from them. It's good to get an understanding and, have catapult off their platform a little bit. But just learn. Don't be afraid to learn and be yourself and get an understanding for yourself. It's gonna be what creates you, and you want to be able to identify with yourself and have others identify with you, and not think of you as something else. It's really important. It creates longevity and people in respect. I think that's missing in a lot of producers' work, and whether it be business-wise or musically, you have to be yourself. And the more that you are yourself, the more that people are going to respect you and buy from you. It takes time, but it'll definitely happen.